Welcome to another episode of Angels, Positivity, and Love. Incredible experts the world over with fascinating backgrounds who are usually on a unique life path serving or helping others. We've had healers, psychotherapists, doctors, one Delta Force operator, one White House physician to the US president, and many others. New York Times, Amazon bestsellers, and so on. Today, coming to us from Vancouver, Canada, we love her, Deb Drummond. She's all about entrepreneurship, wellness, the holistic area. And she's been doing this a long time. She's helped people by the thousands. She's both an author, show host, and so on. But what I'm super excited to highlight about her is she helps people get oriented so they can stand in their own authentic power and get going with whatever it is they're supposed to be doing in life. So, Deb, you've had a long journey. You're going to share some of it with us today. First, I'd just like to welcome you on the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh my goodness. Well, what a pleasant surprise. We go to our emails, our texts, our things, and then we get those messages that are like, nice. Absolutely. Those people that you just say yes to because you do, because of who they are. So when I heard from you, I was like, yes, I don't think I even read the full email. I'm like, let's do this. So thank you.
I love it. It had been, I'm going to guess it's been 3 full years,
Yeah.
just about, since we've talked. And so it's good to see you again. Thank you again for being on. I'm going to give you a quote from a NASA astronaut because I truly think that what he's talking about is technically what you help people do. You help people get out of what they know into something broader and bigger to get moving forward. But here's Story Musgrave, the NASA astronaut. He said, getting out of the comfortable path. That's what exploration is all about. And I'll make one final push. I think you're helping people explore their own heart, their own future, already pre-existing reality that just needs to be unpacked. And that's all you're doing is dusting them off, straightening them up, and getting them out the door. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do for people?
Well, if we can encapsulate that, people have all sorts of really interesting names about me. One is professional hippie. So I love that you recognize what I bring to the table is really accentuating someone's own being, but it's encased in many layers, right? It's encased in who, what, when. I'm too shy. I spend a lot of time in the arena of media, which is really encouraging men and women to stand up, speak up, and show up in their business or their personal lives. When you stand up in one, it tends to stand up in the other, but not necessarily, depending on what we're telling ourselves. So the brave person who would be an incredible, braving out in parenting and braving out in the office, as soon as I'm like, would you like to step on stage? They're like, whoa, lady. What you talking about? And so I get to play the person in front, but mostly I get to play the person behind the stage, the backstage people that help the front stage people really shine in a way that's comfortable. So that's basically what I do.
Hmm. Okay, we're going to jump first, big picture, kind of away from the nitty gritty.
Mhm.
How do you describe the universe? Is love the fabric of the universe? And then can you share with the audience how actually intuitive you are? Now, that could be instinctual. Athletes know it as their prowess on the soccer field or the soccer pitch. They just know where to go. They know how to do it. Everyone compliments them because they're incredible at what they do, or a good golf swing, good golf score. You've got some innate natural abilities. You don't always advertise them, but let's go big first with the universe. How do you describe the universe? And then what cards will you put on the table for us about your inner abilities?
Right. So I believe the universe. So I do believe that one of the most powerful vibrations in the world is music, actually, because I believe that music is something that brings everyone together in solidarity. So I believe that the universe is very much about solidarity. And some people would call it unity, but I like to call it solidarity. When you wake up in the morning and for no unknown reason, you feel you have people at your back. You're like, you're feeling we today, even though it's you in your office by yourself. So I believe that music is one of the most powerful vibrations because it's also not tainted. If you think of the song, We Are the World, I mean, you could sing that anywhere, anytime, and half the room's crying because there's no agenda to music. And no one is not going to love you because of the type of music you listen to. Like even music you would never listen to, don't play that in my house. If someone loved that music, you'd be like, I get it. So for me, when I think of the universe and the vibration, I really believe that music is a conduit. for bringing solidarity and peace in the world. And then in terms of my intuitive abilities, which started with a very considerable vision at 8 years old, which kind of scared me, actually. I was 8, and it was a time where no one talked about intuition or spirit or God. And I was raised in a home where we never had a conversation about God or Jesus or any of that. I went to Sunday school because my girlfriend talked me into it because the bus driver gave ice cream. And I'm like, sign me up. I walk into Sunday school, they're like, where's your Bible, little girl? I'm like, not sure. They're like, okay. So I had my first vision of Jesus at 8 years old. And but it actually scared me in the other direction. I was like, I didn't know it, I didn't understand it. It wasn't until my late 20s, well, no, in my 20s, when I decided to leave the music industry for something else, because I could see that this was causing me more pain than goodness at that time. And then I went into the world of personal development, that I resaw and started to get messages, very clear downloads, and had no one to talk to about them because, again, it wasn't there. But when I started my holistic health practice and doing massage, I literally would massage someone and I would see guides walk from literally around the room and start talking to me. And I'm like, okay, there's a problem here. You want to call NASA? I'm like, I just didn't want to tell anybody. It just wasn't common. Put it this way, there wasn't a Starbucks out yet. Put it that way. And calling the couple of healers that I knew, like the woman that taught me massage, and I'm like, this is happening. What do I do? And she's like, I don't know, but it's cool. I'm like, not really. And it wasn't until I went to another woman for a massage that she stopped the massage partway through and she said, I'm getting a message. Can I talk to you? And I almost burst out into tears. I'm like, you mean there's more than one of us? And that's and I have had an intuitive, heightened sense of conversation ever since, which is why I'm doing right now what I'm doing. I mean, I came from music industry into holistic health. And yes, I've spoke on stages and done a lot of things in the health and wellness sector. And then I literally, what we now commonly call a download, I got a very strong, non-negotiable message to start this project, which has now turned into the largest International Women's Day speakership and authorship in the world. And honestly, I was just walking across the bridge to meet my girlfriend in the first year of this medical condition that the world was having. And I got this quote unquote download, and this is where it ended up with. Because at this point in stage in the play, I know when to listen and kind of when not to, but it was too loud and too bold to argue with.
So look, you've been in front of an audience of as large as 20,000. You probably helped about 30,000 individuals in different formats and fashions in your day. Can you take us back, though, to the vision when you were 8? Just describe it a little bit, give us some flavor before we jump to then the masseuse days when you were seeing what you were seeing. Take us back to 8 and just what was that like? What happened?
Well, really, I mean, back then we did sleepovers. My mother, my mother has lots of brothers and sisters. And so all us cousins, hung out, and they were mostly boys. And me and my one girl cousin at the time that was kind of my age, I was sleeping over, and her bedroom was at the top of this, beautiful, I guess heritage house. And I woke up in the middle of the night for whatever reason. And again, illuminating, floating was Jesus. And it was like the full thing that you see when you walk into a church, that whole, all of it. And it was really, I'm going to say, fear that shot through my body, because that's not an 8-year-old picture. It's just not. And I didn't say anything to anybody. I just was, I don't know. I don't even remember anything other than fear. I obviously went back to sleep. And then the next day we were playing on the railroad tracks. I was a tomboy. And so we were down at the railroad tracks, and we were grabbing flares, and we were setting them off, and we were doing that kind of thing. Right. And my cousin, she said, hey, let's go to, now she was sleeping with me in the bed. I saw it. I didn't think she saw it. And so the next day she's like, let's go to A&W. And I don't know if everyone's listening if they know what A&W is, but it's a hamburger joint and a soda pop joint, and everyone knows them for their root beer. So she opens the door, and at that, make myself sound I'm 80, but it was a soda bar. So, everyone sat on those little stools, and they stopped at the soda bar to get their root beer. And there was a gentleman dressed in everyday clothes, and he turned and he looked at me, and it was the same person, but he was in everyday clothes. And I was like, freaked out. It actually was bizarre, because you'd think that it'd be something that would draw you closer, but it was too soon. And I don't know why it happened when I was that age. I don't know, but it literally turned me in the other direction. I couldn't go into a church on a holiday. I couldn't look at the deity. I couldn't look at pictures. and I could barely say the name. Now, I wasn't hanging out in that crowd anyways at 8 years old, but I continued on in my life. And it actually, when I first conceptually came to a place in my life where I needed to believe in something other than my actual world and what was going on in my world, a girlfriend of mine's like, if you can't believe in God or anything like that, just use rainbows and trees. I mean, I'm like, okay, I can do the rainbow thing. And it wasn't until I started, and then when I started doing massage into that arena, when, I saw people standing around the table.
Let's
Again,
let's jump to that. And can
yeah,
you share one of the more flavorful ones? I have a feeling there was a lot of them, but what's one? Were they walking through walls coming in, or at first you just see them in the room and they would maneuver around, or it was all sorts of different ways?
I'd start the massage and they'd walk in the room. And so at first, of course, I didn't know enough to say anything or not, because they're talking, oh, hey, tell them this and tell them that. And I would be like, so what's going on in your life? I mean, you're massaging, so you're not talking a whole lot. So what's going on in your life? Oh, I'm trying to decide between this or that. And I would hear, I'm like, maybe you want to lean forward over here. I was very covert in relaying the messages. I remember one very clear, very day to this day. Well, there was two actually. But one, I was, when to begin the massage, I would put this beautiful compress on their face, and I like, take a deep breath and, let it go. Right. And I said someone's name. I'm like, let it go. And then I said a name, like it was like Carl or something. I don't remember the name. And the woman said to me, I am just in debate of whether I should let my relationship go. And that's his name. And I was like, okay, no idea. And I didn't play on it. I was like, oh, well, that's interesting. That's kind of serendipitous. And I just did the massage, because the receiving of that, I'd never even gone for a psychic myself. I didn't know what was happening to me. The second time it happened is I was massaging someone's leg. I know that it was a male client. I was massaging their leg, and I heard a question for me. What would you do if you had $1 million? And my immediate answer is I'd start an aromatherapy home party company. And then I was like, okay. And I don't know why I never questioned it. I had $2,000 to my name. That's it. I was soon to be a single mom of a young girl, like, 3 years old. And I was like, let's start an aromatherapy home party company. And so I did. I don't know how I formulated 300 products. I don't know how I did it. I mean, I'm a formulator. I took the class, but I don't know how I did that. And I had 2 home party companies for 17 years because of that message. I don't know. My mom probably wished I'd taken her. She probably would. You should have listened to me. You know what I mean? But I did. Yeah.
Can we go on a complete tangent? Don't you do perfume? I don't know what to call it, perfume inventions as well. So can you describe a little bit of the laboratory process, or what your skill set is for that creative bent of yours to make an amazing scent or perfume?
Yes. The last time we talked, the perfume world was very up for me. And, things have blossomed, obviously. Yeah, we've perfumed in this big 262 project, and my son's company as well, which I will make a perfume for. Funny that you say that, it's on the agenda. But so I'm a formulator, so so I do natural formulation based on aromatherapy products. So that's what all of my company was. It was an aromatherapy home party company, and I taught French perfumery. I taught aromatherapy, so how people could mix and blend and achieved goals through using plant essences. And I fell in love with perfume. I love perfume. For me, it is just so. I don't want to say self-indulgent, but it's self-enveloping, like just this aura. And I love signature pieces. Like my jewelry company was called Red Velvet Women's Signature Jewelry. I love solo identification. And I just think your perfume is your signature. And I think it's so beautiful. Like it's like, oh, you smell it. And honestly, someone who loves perfume doesn't even really care if anyone else smells it. You put it on, you're like, yeah, that's right. That's who I am today. That's what it feels good. So, so I make perfume and have made perfume specifically for people that are looking for that signature, whether it's for their company, whether it's for themselves, whether it's for their stage presence, whether it's for their branding, or whether it's for themselves personally. But we sit at a table with a variety, and we just play and formulate and play and formulate. And the beautiful thing about aromatherapy, the book I haven't written back yet is called One Drop Solution, because in an essential oil or a perfume blend, one drop of any essential oil completely change the consistency, and it changes the meaning behind the perfume. So it's quite an art, actually.
This reminds me, and again, this is going to go over the head of some of the audience, but I think it was the 80s, A&E, maybe late 80s, early 90s. There was an antique dealer, so to speak, Lovejoy, Ian McShane, if anybody knows that actor from England. But he would literally have his heart palpitate when he saw an antique piece that was, maybe millions of dollars. It was a venerable, just incredible piece, but he was so passionate about antiques. And this is what you're all about on the creativity front, aromatherapy, and more. Could you just take us forward a little bit on the private side? You're doing, the massage, but what was going on in your personal life? When did you have either dream time or physically? Did you ever have an angel or just a stranger with sparkly eyes walk down the street and say, it's time, or something like that? You look back, they're gone. You're like, whoa, what was that? You freak out for another week. Can you share with us, outside of the massage area, did you have anything happen?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I did massage for a lot of years. I had the opportunity and blessings to work on 30,000 clients before I got the next calling, which is very interesting. If anyone out there is moving to a calling and giving up something you love for something you love, that is very difficult. It is very difficult because it's working. Most of us are open to change when it's not. But during the first year of, like I said, when this world was in this health state, I was walking across the bridge, and being in Canada, we had like our certain regulations, like every country. And so I was going to go for my one walk to meet my one girlfriend. It was Thursday afternoon. I could tell you exactly, Thursday at 4. And I was halfway across this beautiful bridge in our city called the Broad Street Bridge. And literally halfway through, I heard the words, "It's time," so loud, it made me jump. And in the immediacy, I had 4 things told to me. You need to do a marathon, which I hadn't done in 19 years. You need to donate the money to the music industry, do it in Ireland and Amnesty International. Now, I looked up and I was like, you're kidding me, right? First of all, in case you didn't notice, I'm not going to Ireland. I'm not going anywhere. Second, I don't want to do a marathon. Third, the music and the amnesty, I get it because I have been supporting that organization since I was 17, supporting the bands that come in. And so that all made sense. But I was like, what are you talking about? Like, we're in a little bit of a crisis here. Don't be talking. And so I actually literally started to move forward with that project. And it was really quite a project. I mean, everything aligned for me to go walking marathons across Ireland and connecting with Alicia Keys and her music organization. And it was going really great. And all of a sudden it was stopping, and it was stopping, and it was stopping. And it was getting more and more difficult to move the project forward. Like, I mean, we still have a website. You can look it up, like all of it. And I will do this in 2026. But what happened is, a month after that happened, I picked up the phone in my office here and I said to my publisher, because we had just launched a book for 22 women, and it was hitting. I mean, when it's happy, happy, joy, joy, it was happy, happy, joy, joy. 140 million media impressions on this project. I called her and I said, you know what? It's time. The same it's time that I got told. I said, this women's book I've been flapping about since I was 31. Since I was 30, I wasn't even in media. I was like massaging people, living my life. So I said to her, it's time. And she said, okay. I said, we need to do that women's book. And she's like, hallelujah, let's do it. I mean, who wasn't? We were all running high. And so she said, how many women? And I said, I don't know. I'll pray tonight, let you know tomorrow. I woke up to 262 and I'm like, yeah, no way. Like, no way. Like, I'm not doing 262 women in a book. We just did 22 women and it was fun. But I'm like, 262. No. Next morning I woke up, I heard 263. I'm like, dude, wrong direction. Figure it out. Right. And then the next day after that, I was texting my girlfriend on the phone and 262 came across the screen. I called my publicist and I said 262 and she said no. And I said, I've been fighting for 3 days. Get ready.
And 26.2 is the marathon for the distance. So 262, I figured that out on my own. No one told me, and I can't believe I'm ever ahead of the curve like this. Wow.
And you know what? That didn't even occur to me. And we were 3 years in this project. And I think someone mentioned it to me like 6 months ago. I'm like, no. And I'm like, oh my goodness.
So did you get a good laugh over that, or what? And just start shaking
I was
your head?
like, wow. There's still people expecting me to do a marathon. It actually was supposed to be 8. I'm like, okay, I'll do one in 2026 when this project, we're on a 5-year book tour now. So I'm like, sure, we'll fit it in somewhere. But, and donate the money to the music industry. But yeah, no, it is, I did not see it at the time. I did not put that together. And a marathon it has been, my friend, a marathon it has been.
Oh, excellent. Hey, you know what we're going to do with your permission? I'm going to go a little early here. I'm going to blow some sage to you, which is a staple of the show. You'll smell what you smell, but people at home, it doesn't matter whether your schnoggin got broken last week, you've never been able to smell perfume in the first place, it's just never worked right. This is energy. You're going to catch it through two screens. Ask for the scent of sage, ask for the universe, angels to get involved, get you out of your head into your heart. Catch flowers on top of that. Catch what you want to catch. If you want ocean, what will you allow for? And, you know, one day we'll see what perfume she invents for all of us, or for, I guess, women. But will it be named Ocean, or will it be named some version thereof? We'll have to wait and see. One of her children's name is Ocean as well. There's a theme here. Okay, so give yourself permission to let go. Some people are sensitive, start tasting this in their mouth just as I start to light it. It's just sage, Juniper Ridge, the California company. I think it's in all the Whole Foods, and it's super consistent and fun. I'm not sponsored. Should be. Okay, catch the sage. Deb, you're already getting it in Vancouver, I trust. But any floral arrangement, and if you could ask for some ocean breeze. I've got a microphone down here. I'm going to look like I'm blowing through it because I am. And I'm going to blow Hawaii your way. It'll be a little wind on your nose, eyes open, eyes closed. It doesn't matter. People at home, breathe through your mouth if you want the volume up. Pitch a little Maui, Kanapali, Kapalua, Wailea. And did you get the flowers to get the ocean okay? You're crazy. Okay, now I'll put up an angel named Joy. She might as well be named Ocean. She's a lot of fun. And just have her give you a topic, if you don't mind, that flashes to you. That, because I mean, you're a walking encyclopedia of topics. But have her remind you of a particular chapter of your life, or a particular area, one of those wellness topics, or something. Like faith, non-religious, religious faith, same letting go, not knowing while you move forward. You had to do a lot of that to launch everything you've launched since we last spoke. So what are you getting from Joy?
What am I getting from Joy?
Yeah, what topic is she reminding you of to maybe talk to us about?
Oh, to talk to you about. Well, I was just like, you know, Joy, what have you got to say to me? And she was highlighting for me, letting go, like just letting go. You know what I mean? Because for me, there's a lot of swirling, right? And it's just reminding to let go when you are creating when you have multiple projects or what have you. They're all at different stages, and it's a dance.
Sounds like another book topic, ultra letting go or super letting go. Isn't that what you had to do 262 experts in your book to feature them? That is a lot of interaction, a lot of stress, a lot of this, a lot of resistance. That. Talk to us about how you had to let go to stay the course and one foot in front of the other on your very special path to let it unfold.
Oh, you know, they had me, I was speaking on all of the 22 summits. And on the last summit, I said to my team, and I'm like, okay, we're just about to launch. The book launched on May 11th. And they were like, I'm like, what do I talk about? And they're like, why don't you talk about the stretch of significance? I was like, oh, God have mercy. I mean, there's a book, right? I was saying in this project, I was like, my solo book is going to be #God pick on somebody else, because this is, and true to true, I'm sure that book is going to arrive on bookshelf soon. No, I mean, it was really, at some point when you're doing something that's kind of growing at this pace, you have a self-realization moment that it's beyond you. You also have a self-realization moment that you're too far in. You know, it's kind of like your kid's 4 and you're like, maybe I shouldn't be a parent. No, you're too far in. So you're too far in. And I think that for me, it was just really important to remember. For me, it was like the mission statement had to be strong. We said it at every single meeting that we did. And the grandeur scheme was what kept me going. And bringing it in, like my mornings were so important. Who was I listening to in that morning? And there was days that it was gleaming all day long. And then there was days where you're tired. You can't put something like this out there. And there was a lot about letting go, right? There was a lot about letting go, doing everything we could before that next summit, and then just trusting and doing everything you could before the next summit. And in a project like this, you find out holes usually live. You're like, okay, okay, right? You find them out. You cannot forecast in an unforeseen evolvement all of the highs and the challenges. You can't. So usually when it shows up, so it was a constant conversation with God. There was those books, Conversation with God. I was like, move in. You're going to be my roommate till this project's done, right? It was like really having to get tight.
Okay, now we're going to go on a tangent again, but in your actual workspace there, you've got a couple rings on. You can choose one of those. You can choose your necklace, the heart, or Fleetwood Mac. Which one do you want to talk about, and how are any of these your inspiration, your steady Eddie piece of jewelry to keep you going daily? What would you want to share about? The ring, the heart necklace, or Fleetwood Mac, or all the above?
Well, I mean, if I'd say that jewelry is my thing, right? But this blue ring has been a ring that I've worn through this project. Music is my, that best friend moved in a long time ago, and everyone knows how much I love Fleetwood Mac. But I'd say this ring was pretty steady for me. Yeah, I'd say that ring.
Cool. Okay, now how does kindness, gentleness, compassion, laughter, joy, fun, and I'm probably skipping something else. Well, you've already talked about letting go. How do those things play a part in the symphony that you're creating all the time?
All of what you talked about?
Yeah,
Well,
what elements do you really rely on to keep yourself honest, open, making sure people enjoy the ride? Kindness, gentleness, compassion. How do you describe some of the softer tones?
the only way that I can encapsulate it is recognizing that that I need to lead from behind the stage.
Hmm.
So even when we have a staff meeting and we're it's exploratory, I'm the last person to speak. And remembering that they're relying on me to make the final decisions and be the person that's going to stand up, speak up, and show up every single time, no matter what, no matter what. And live from a place of empathy, but make the decisions. It's really like, it is really yin and yang, feminine and masculine. It's like, you got to stand in your both. You have to stand in your both. And this project, it wasn't like being masculine here and then feminine here. It was really standing in the both. I can't explain it any other way than that.
How much how much longer does your book tour, go on for into the future?
Yeah. So we just launched the book May 11th. We started this project May 2023, launched May 11th, had a huge week celebration in Vancouver, June 6th. I'm heading to Ireland on the 9th of August to the 20th. Come home from there, go to LA to the Emmys, where we will be hand gifting this at the 2024 Emmys at the Celebrity Gifting Lounge around the pool. And then we will be going to Texas in October. Looks like November will be New York, December will be Mexico, and then we'll be back in LA at the Oscars hand gifting this again as well. And so we have this tour right now. We have what we call the book Santa Claus tour being put up online, and we will be touring for 5 years with this project. Where we go, whomever chooses to host, if someone puts their hand up and goes, please come to my country, we will work with them to have different type of events wherever we go, but there has to be a part of every event that has full accessibility to women and those that support women to come see the authors, be the authors, sign the book, have some time and have some exchange with us. So we are just about to embark on a 5-year party, my friend Michael.
Okay, are you ready for Audrey Hepburn and Angel? I'll put her up. You can let her move, wink, smile, shoulder waggle. If I didn't say it, eyebrow goes up. A photograph we know cannot move, but we've talked no limits this entire time. Why would it be any different with Angels? Here she is, but I'm going to throw one extra thing out that people have been doing for years. Catch an uninvented perfume from her, but instead of it being out of Paris, the next Givenchy, perfume, let it be one of your signature ones. If you want it to be the signature one, have a private chat about that, but also then catch something from her that you can relate to all of us that she's sharing. And the brain's going to want to say, I didn't just see a smile, a wink, eyebrow go up. That's your ego, your thinking, your resistance, your fear, the part that says better not. Your heart's like, ooh, pretty, good smile. I love it. Do it again. And you can even hear a little bit of music if you want Parisian or some sort of other music in the air, that's fine. Let us know with a thumbs up that you're getting the perfume. Yay. Okay, now something private, get a compliment from her. Feel a lot of whooshes in your stomach, down your back. Yep. And if you need to jot down a couple of ingredients,
Mhm.
yep, because that was the winner right there. Winner, winner, chicken dinner, but we're talking perfumes. And then she'll give you a big topic that you already know how to handle, but it'll be something a little bit different. And what's that all about? You're going to start sharing with us in just a second, but get what you need to get down. Anybody at home can put their hand out like she's a fireplace, but instead of fire, feel warmth, gentleness, sparkle. She's a class act. She's half grace and half sparkle in the moment. And if you want to hear her, just close your eyes, ask, listen. You can leave your eyes open, let her do her job. You're simply getting out of what you know, out of your own way, out of anything from the neck and up to breathe easier, slow down, and listen. It's like taking a walk, taking a bath, which a lot of people don't do. They don't have the time, or petting your dog instead of being on a cell phone as you come home from work. A lot of us are on the cell phone and too busy to just enjoy the fact that you're home for all of 2 minutes. Okay, we're pulling you back into the show. What are you getting for us, Deb, for a topic from Audrey Hepburn to you for all of us? What's she saying?
Wow. Well, there was a lot there. And of course, I was writing as I was talking. So when she came up, I heard the word rose and then I heard absolute. And if you know anything about essential oils, rose absolute is very, I mean, it's very exclusive. It's rose, but there's all sorts of types of rose. And then I heard auto after that. So rose auto is also OTTO is a type of rose perfume. So it was very interesting. At first, it was like, you what like what it was kind of like what, and it was very poised, and then I got all sorts of things. So I got, again, very not interesting, but polar, exclusivity and freedom. And I thought that's interesting. And exclusive freedom, like to create a blend that is exclusive freedom, because when you think of those two words, exclusive, solo, just you, and then freedom, which is grand. And so, yeah, freedom and grace. When you think of, I got the word classic, which of course, right? But classic, not in a 1950s kind of way where it's classic and it's all that. It's like classic in terms of, like, I got the word vanilla. Now, vanilla can be an essential oil as well, and you can make a perfume with vanilla, but it was like not that. It was almost like simplicity and purity and bring it in and hone it in and streamline. I heard the word streamline, right? Streamline. And then I got the name of a very, very good friend of mine who's a celebrity event producer who's actually producing my son Ocean's event here in February. And there's a key to unlock there in relationship to perfume. And I know what she's talking about by that. Like if I produce a perfume and put it in Lainey's hands, then it would soar. So yeah, there's this exclusive freedom. And I think that's really interesting because it's also, again, a form of self-observation, right? Sometimes you feel trapped within, like sometimes some of the stress that we have and sometimes some of the barriers we have are like not self-induced but self-induced, right? And we can be free at any time. I don't know, it's a solo journey, so I like that. I like solo journey.
If you have any questions, I'll put up the next expert. He ends up being out of 200 plus experts, and that's figures from India, Native American chiefs, religious, non-religious figures, Plato, Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, St. Francis, St. Gerard, St. Anthony, I'm going to stumble here, Mary, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, East Asian figures, but also galactic figures now, even a Pleiadian now. It's gotten bigger. I'm going to put up Geronimo, and he's dry wit, humor, action, 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 a lightning bolt. He's also very grandfather-ish. He steals the show. Out of 200 figures, he's top 3 usually. You'd think some of the other names I mentioned, Mother Teresa and stuff, would be more popular. But he also doesn't talk in a proper formal yes-no way. It's more yeah, nah, duh. You already know the answer. Just do it. And I'm going to say that you have a lot in common with him because you're like a lightning bolt in the way you take action. And that's all about taking action with no thought. That doesn't mean no planning. It just means the only way to take proper action is to truly be here. Any athlete knows this. You're thinking in golf, you shank the ball one direction or the other. Here we go. Here's Geronimo. But if you need to check on some detail now, the brain kicked in and you're like, well, I wasn't sure. I heard that from Audrey. Here's Geronimo. Catch one of those 50 sacred smells: sage, sweetgrass, desert pinon, cedar, pine, juniper. What are you getting in the air right now? Breathe through your mouth and turn up the volume. Scribble down a quick note, but then if you could share that whole lightning characteristic that you've always had, you've been able to pivot on a dime, even if you hem and haw about it and complain out loud, you're still like a Formula One vehicle. And lock that in. And then if you could just talk to us about, as if you were a Tibetan Buddhist monk talking about action, turning on a dime, no attachments that are the obstacle types of attachments. It's sort of like, what will you allow for? I'm going to pull back on him. What will you allow for in each and every moment? And let's ditch the spirituality. I'll buy Deb just 10 seconds here. What are you allowing for daily? Forget the woo woo woo, forget business, forget angels, forget Geronimo. I'm not trying to take anything away from that, but just, are you allowing for yourself to flow a little more, to do something spontaneous? Not the usual ho-hum or the rinse, repeat cycle or rat race of work and the way you do things at a certain level. It's not a lot of fun. So expansion, what will you allow for? Deb, you're taking us on another journey here on the show. Where are we going?
What will I allow for? There's always a piece of allowance. I mean, my days can be chakra blocked, but I'm not one of those people that get thrown off when it gets thrown off. I think I kind of wake up with a level of allowance. Actually, I wake up with a level of knowing that this day could go any way that it's going to go. And really, when you talked about pivot, like my world is, I mean, there's this great meme that's like, it's like plot twist. It's like a plot twist, right? And I do absolutely have a very solid like baseline. Like for it to be a bad day, I have a pretty solid baseline, which is pretty extreme. So between now and that, which is pretty grand, everything is fluid. Right? I have an agenda, everything's fluid, but I don't know, I have a very deep sense of appreciation of time. Like I have a deep sense of appreciation for time, not only in this project, but in my life. So when I wake up in the day, I'd say I have a deep sense of appreciation. I really, I honor time.
Have you ever felt like you can stretch time just a wee bit?
Of course.
We won't get into it, but we're going to leave. Is it okay if we leave a little asterisk and we'll call that a super sub skill set of yours, which I didn't know about until just right now. Okay, one last thing. This is kind of that show and tell. What did you get from Geronimo that you can share with us?
So his eyes were piercing. They were non-negotiable. And so when I was looking in his eyes, it was like, that I know, that that I know. Like they're piercing. It's like, look, it's like, you're on this path. It's like people like, why do you do it? I'm like, because I have to. Like that's who I am. But I also got the word lime leaves. As soon as I saw him, it was lime leaves. So there's something about that. And piercing and deep knowingness, and like he's deep.
Here's Charlotte for you to get the lime leaves. While I look up one more Geronimo photo, have her explain what those are, write it down, and I found the photo pretty quickly. Whoop, I did want a different photo than that.
I mean, for me, lime and the reminder of lime leaves. Yeah. Just solid, the message I get is like non-negotiable, solid, competent, worn. I mean, that you're looking at like a cajillion lifetimes when you're looking at that person. For me, it's like, it's multiple, right? And leadership and the command and the demand of leadership. You can see it.
You're doing your inner fearless, peaceful warrior path here. Why not a marathon along the way? Why not? Give us your best. Tell the universe why not, and it won't hear the no. And watch how much closer you come to doing a marathon now. The last thing in the world you wanted to hear coming on a show as a guest. But tell us one good reason why you're not doing a marathon in the next year.
Within the next 12 months?
Mm-hmm.
Because my body's not ready to do multiple marathons. Like we were talking 8. Okay. So I've taken it down to 1 or 2. So my body has been sitting in this chair, commanding out. So that one thing is that my body is not ready to physically. And the other thing that I think about is the command and demand of helping my son launch his company, as well as 262 is a movement, and it is harnessing my capacity of energy. So I would say capacity and this physical body.
Okay, I'm going to stick up a quote here. I guess not literally. I'm going to read it out loud. If I could get your reaction to this, we're going back to more mankind and the fact that we're all growing and expanding, whether we know it. Maybe more awareness is coming in. Go extreme, call it a spiritual awakening if you wish, but it just means a little more gentleness. Here's the quote. Would love to get a reaction from you and why this is so important. Sometimes the person next to you or a stranger just needs validation via love and compassion. A smile changes any moment. So too does laughter or a few kind words. Be compassion to all. Do it.
You want to know what I hear out of that? Well, I hear equality. I hear equality. I hear two things. I hear equality, like nothing matters, nothing matters. Like who's beside you, like don't choose who you give kindness to, or your, the run of the criteria. It just is. And the second thing that really popped out is the word laughter. And every night, I mean every night, as far back as I remember, no matter how tired I was, and last night was one of them because I went to a late movie, I always grab my phone and I listen to comedy before I go to bed. It has saved my soul. I really truly believe that it has washed the day and allowed me to wake up the next morning completely fresh. And so I heard laughter and I heard equality.
Okay, totally again in a different direction. What are you doing to recharge your batteries or to push you a little bit on the spirituality front? Is there a wellness retreat you're not telling anybody about that you're headed off to at some point to recharge for a weekend? Is it your own expert out there on the holistic wellness spirituality front? It could be a masseuse. Who do you turn to? What are you planning on turning to? Is there a secret trip you're starting to maybe formulate to just get a level playing field again, feel like you've got the wind in your sails? What's ahead for you?
Yeah, well, literally, we have in Ireland, we have the 18th and 19th 2-day workshop. I'm arriving on the 10th. and I'm heading down to the Cliffs of Moher, which is my absolute favorite place in the world. And I've rented myself a little quiet place, and I plan on going there and being quiet and by myself, even though my business partner's coming in. She knows, like, okay, there's 3 or 4 days where we're not having a conversation, and I'm actually going to love you and leave you. And I'm going to the cliffs as much as I want, whenever I want, and people will know I'm in Ireland. But that's my refueling station, and I haven't been there since before our health shift. And what do I do for myself? I think I have a great relationship with myself in the silence. And so in between my day, I am music, and it's called vinyl. And there's a record player in my living room, and 2 minutes of that. So that's my daily reprieve, is music, but that's what's coming up in Ireland, and I'm super excited about that. And then I'm heading to Tofino, and if you remember correctly, we did a meditation or something similar to what we're doing here about Tofino, and Tofino's a beautiful place. It's a surfing area. Obviously, I'll be getting in the water, and I know that there's some magic awaiting me there as well, and that's in September for 4 days before the Emmys, because that's a whole different party. So
Brilliant. Okay, you just created a new and final step with the universe. I'm going to put up Big Mary. I better just show the classic version. If you're going to Ireland, everybody in Ireland has to have it this way. I've learned the hard way. It's the following photograph, but I'm going to quickly switch it to a more modern version. There she is. Okay, but here's a more modern version. Let her move, wink, smile. She's love. She's everything we need. I'm quoting the 3 Native American chiefs, Geronimo, Dullknife, Redshirt. She's love. She's everything we need. If we all had her faith and trust, there'd be no more need for fear or worry. This is going to sound like a lot, but you can allow for rainbow glitter as if it's part of a woman's cosmetics package at Macy's on the counter, but the wind caught it. It's all over your room. You won't have to vacuum later, and I'm not getting an email tomorrow saying you had to have the place professionally cleaned. It's made out of light. Let her bring a little bit of rainbow glitter, and I'm going to bring an angel in just a second who's very watery. Here's something from Big Mary. Get whooshed up and down. Are you getting rippled with light up and down your field? Oh, Deb, you're outstanding in your field with your sunflowers and other roses and fragrances. Yay. And then here's an angel who's my guardian angel, but also a doctor who's August 30th of 2024, that episode, Dr. Karen Wyatt. She saw her as an 11-year-old and now is a retired doctor. This angel, Min, showing up above her bed, or in front of her bed in all white, like a Hallmark angel, launched her on her medical career at the age of like 8, 9, 10, or 11. And then here she is talking to us about how that's her guardian angel. And she's retired now. So it's August 30th, 2024, Dr. Karen White. People can go back. This is a soft-spoken professor, light waves of energy and water between Mary and Min. And with Min, get a lot of Ireland and get a lot of Tofino, if I said it correctly. Get a lot of your next 2 trips, or those 2 big trips. And then if you could get a blanket reminder for us all, we're all on our unique journeys. They've got something for you besides just, the stuff you're jotting down. A reminder to maybe live more, love more, allow more, have more fun. What are you getting as a reminder for us all?
See the beauty. Like when I look in her eyes, I see this incredible sparkle, right? And for me, I have a personal message around that, but it's also about see, right? See, like see more than what we normally see, like clarity, really, really clear. Like when the picture, it was just like I could just see the clarity in her eyes. There's like white there, and there was something about seeing, really seeing. So I'm very audio. I hear everything. My download comes in hearing. So as I embark over to Ireland, I'm going to look to see what I can see.
There's a Jules Verne quote, either from the Balloon movie or maybe 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, but it was something like, see with all of you, with all your eyes. And I think it means from the heart, see with your heart. It's already kind of plugged in with everything.
Here's something interesting as well, though. SEA. I'm going to the cliffs of Moher, where the most powerful for me is watching that water hit the cliffs. And it is breathtaking for me. And it is like exactly as you can imagine, standing it over the cliffs. And then I'm going to Tofino, where I know I'm going to be sitting on a rock and I'm going to be watching the ocean or the sea. SEA. I think there's a lot of magic there for me. I think it's going to be really refreshed. And I don't mind being transparent. I have made a recent decision to embark on the venture of love again. And that's what I saw in her eyes, is really like, okay.
And the cliffs of Moher are also a double entendre or triple entendre at this point. You're going to have a lot more happening after these trips. Deb, you've done a lot of shows. You're a show host for your own show. I'm blanking on the name of it right now. Can you remind us? Is it Mission Accepted?
Yes, it's called Mission Accepted. It's for people that are on a mission.
Okay, and there we go. I mean, it's almost like it's Bomber Command, it's World War II, except a happier ending every time. Bomber crews sometimes don't come back. The bottom line on this is you've done shows before, you're wrapping it up here for us, but we need sweeping. We've done treetop level, we've done sort of midair. Can you take us up a mile or two, almost to outer space and the stars? What's this all about, this unique venture we've got in life? Are we supposed to experience more, love more? What is Deb Drummond's patented way of describing only an eternal question here for all of us?
Well, no pressure at the end. No pressure at the end. And
None.
You too can. You know what I think? I think that just like why it was really hard for me to leave the world of healing with really hands-on healing and individual clients, because if you asked any of us, and there's 18 staff, like I went to work with 18 psychics. Now there's fun, but we all were on point, on passion, and we knew what we were doing. And what we felt we were doing, if you came into a staff meeting, is that we were the reason, or we were the vehicle for making people come back to themselves, to connect to themselves. Like, I'm not here, and nor should I be here to tell you what your journey is. All I'm doing is I'm here to help you unlayer if that's what you need, rise higher if that's what you need, step on stage if that's what you need, write your words on paper if that's what you need. And I believe all we're doing is helping people connect to themselves so they can hear. It's not my job. How dare I think that I have your messages that tell you what to do? I have the messages that remind you who you are, so you hear what you're supposed to do. And I support that process and help you chip away at that so you can one day stand in self-observation and help heal yourself and others. I mean, aren't you? It is incredible. I mean, I'm with entrepreneurs all day, and if you listen to all entrepreneurs, there's this vast, immense, intense desire to heal, and people that would never before say that intuition is coming into their work and their business decisions, and it is boardroom after boardroom after boardroom that is allowing someone to go, I got a gut feeling on that. Intuitively I feel, where before in board meetings it was like, show me the numbers, like what are you talking about, like there's another room and it's over there for that. And so I'm seeing boardrooms change, and it's the allowance of people digging in within themselves in a way that I've never seen before. And I think it is, you know, you talk about galactic. I think the consciousness is getting incredibly powerful. So yeah, I think we're all kind of becoming really incredible conduits. That's my high level piece.
Deb Drummond, there's always one surprise at the end of every show. Here it is. Are you ready to connect? I'll put my hand up, but only my highest self. Really, we're going to blame angels here. I'll put up Joy and Min just so you hear this is groovy cool. It'll be my highest intent, my highest self, really angels. I'll put my hand up. You put your hand up in Vancouver, but not our bill paying, judging side, the brain. It's only our hearts. Let's connect this way. I'll whoosh rainbow light 3 times to you. Again, we're blaming angels. Don't blame Canada. But can you feel my connection through 2 screens? And what does it feel like?
It feels warm in the palm of my hand. It feels
I
like
didn't do it. I didn't do it. It's angels. But here comes the first one. We'll go low, medium, high. On the last one, it's go big, go home. You're already home. Let's go big. But the first one, just sandbag it a little. Feel maybe a whoosh up and down your back. The more people breathe through their mouth, 1 or 2 millimeters. And also for the folks watching, we've got a good buffer up. Ask Joy, angels. So not in 2030, if 1,000 people do this all at once, we're not getting their energy at all. It's just angels. Okay, here we come. I'm going to whoosh rainbow light, maybe up your back, around the room, catch a little Hawaii if you want. Why not? Here it comes. Catch a little Hawaiian wind on your nose. And Deb, using your words and me showing the microphone I was blowing into, what did you get at your end? What did you feel?
I'm a very visual. It was almost like there was an orchid, you know, like what's the flower of Hawaii? Like what is it?
Hibiscus?
Is that what it is? The white.
Maybe it's one of them. They've got a lot.
Yeah. So it was like, you know, the one they make the laser.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
white.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's white.
Okay,
Yeah.
now we go medium. And why don't you name a fruit name out loud that's really important to you? I'd do 2 fruits. One would include all your travels coming up. May it be beyond smooth. It's magical. You are just jaw dropped every other day. You're like, I can't believe this just happened. I can't believe this is happening tonight. You're surprised. You're waltzed. Let the universe really waltz you. But here it comes. What's your fruit out loud that's sort of a wish? I don't need to know the details. The audience isn't going to know the details. When you say papaya, you know what it is. The universe knows what it is. It's what you said earlier. You're just pointing people the right direction. The universe is ready to help. What's your fruit name out loud that represents some personal wish, request to the universe?
Raspberry.
Okay, here it comes. Catch it a little stronger. Rainbow light, maybe up your back. Ooh, and I got heat on my right hand on that one. Did you feel that a little more? Was it a little more intense?
Yeah, like I'm even watching my hand change colors. It's almost getting very pink.
Yeah, we never asked, do you see auras? Yes or no?
Right now?
You do now.
No, yeah. No, I'm very aware of auras, yeah.
Cool. Okay, last one. Again, go big, go home. You're already home. Let's go big. Here it goes. But you might as well have it kind of shake you like you're at a concert, Fleetwood Mac. Here we go. And that's it. What was that last one like, Deb?
It was like being in the room with you too.
Oh my goodness. Deb Drummond, we wish you well in your travels ahead. You have been fantabulous. I can't tell you how spontaneous, creative you were, but guess what? That's your daily routine. Thank you for being here on the show.
Oh my gosh, well, thank you for creating this platform. I mean, you live in platform, so we're both on the same stage, helping people get to the same stage.
Yay. I agree.
Yay.
Deb, thank you very much.
All right. Bye.
Bye.